Hi guys, welcome to the next video on the chapter Rise of Nationalism in Europe. In the previous video we discussed about the making of a nation and the key drivers to it. In this video we'll be discussing about the post-Napoleon era in Europe. So, when Napoleon was defeated, the conservatives were back in power, and these conservatives has an idea that the traditional institutions like the church, the state, so they should be preserved. Social hierarchy should be preserved and monarchy should be preserved. So that was the idea of conservatives. And the conservatives also had an idea that the changes brought about by Napoleon and the French revolutions were not entirely bad, they were also good. So the modernization brought about by the French revolution, that was to be embraced. And actually they understood that the importance of the changes that have been brought is such that the modernization could actually strengthen these traditional institutions. So this was the idea that the conservatives had, that these modernization concepts could actually help these traditional institutions. Hence they rooted for a modern army, then efficient bureaucracy, dynamic economy, and they supported the abolition of feudalism. So they didn't want feudalism back. They understood that the middle class has a huge role to play. So the conservatives actually didn't want to go back to the pre-revolutionary days. They said that they could be mixed and the changes could also be embraced. Now, when Napoleon was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo, then a Treaty of Vienna was signed with France by the Allied powers, the ones who had just defeated Napoleon. Now, this treaty was signed with an intention that France does not get to annex the European state as it did earlier. So the concept was that they should not be allowed to annex more states. So you will see that a series of states were set up all across the French boundary to ensure that they do not expand. So you will see that Kingdom of Netherlands was set up. Netherlands at that time also had Belgium. So a kingdom here was set up just north of France. Then another kingdom of Genoa was set up in the south. So kingdoms will keep getting set up so that France does not get to annex new state. They cannot expand because of the French Revolution. They did not want a repeat of that, what Napoleon had just done. So under this treaty, the other important points that you need to know about that is that the Bourbon dynasty, the ones which were ruling France before French Revolution, they were restored to power. So they were given the monarchy of France again, and they were said, you're not supposed to annex new states. Then Prussia was given important new territories on the western frontiers. Then Austria was also given control of northern Italy. So for northern Italy also, Austria was given control. Then we had Russia. Russia was given part of Poland, and Prussia was given part of Saxony. So these are the important points that you need to understand, with the Bourbon dynasty being the most important point that they were brought back to power. Now, another important thing is that the German Confederation, the entire German state, was left untouched. So all 39 states, which were set up by Napoleon, by the way, so they were left untouched. They were not divided. So this is what was done in the Treaty of Vienna. Now, the idea of nationalism was defeated in the French in the Battle of Waterloo, with the Allied powers winning back powers, monarchies gaining control. But still, there was a sense of nationalism that was created. That spark was already created. So the conservatives wanted to curb these activities because they did not want to tolerate all this. So there were censorship laws imposed, which said that newspapers, books, plays and songs, whatever was there, if they reflected the ideas of liberty and freedom which were associated with the French revolutions, then they were censored because they did not want new spark, new revolution to come up again. So the memory of the French Revolution, actually, which was still living on among the liberals, they wanted to crush it, they wanted to suppress it. So this was the idea of the conservatives, that how to reduce or suppress the memory of French Revolution. But still, since that spark was created, another revolutions were being risen. So there most of these secret societies that were created, that was around this time of 1830s, 1840s. You will see a lot of new societies coming up. So secret societies which understood that nation states have to come up, and most of these revolutionaries saw that the creation of nation state is a necessary part for struggle for freedom. They said that there should be nation states governed by the citizens, not by the monarchies. Only then you can have absolute freedom. So this was the idea for liberals. Now, so a lot of secret societies were coming up and a lot of revolutionary ideas were coming up. So here in case we have the story of Giuseppe Mazzini. So Mazzini had an idea that nation states have to come up. So it's believed that God had intended that nations are the natural units of mankind. So he forced Italy into he had an idea that Italy had to be forced into a unified republic. Only then it can gain liberty. So this was the idea of Mazzini, and he said that this patchwork of small states and kingdoms can never actually fulfill the idea of liberty. Then he inspired a lot of setting up of secret societies. Those secret societies came up in Germany, France, Switzerland, Poland, and you could see that he also attempted a revolution. Even though it failed, it was in northern Italy, by the way, in Liguria. So it failed, but still the spark that was created, the inspiration that he had set up, created a setting up of secret societies. So his relentless opposition to monarchy, actually his vision for democratic republics, frightened the conservatives, because he was giving the spark. He was giving spark to the liberals. He was giving new ideas to the liberals how the nation state should actually be governed. So this is the basis for what was set up for the next decades for Europe. So this is all about the post-Napoleon era. In the next video, we'll be discussing of the age of revolutions. So thank you so much.